more. I'm joined by Duyeon Kim, who's Adjunct Senior Fellow at the Center for a New American Security, focusing on nuclear non-proliferation and the two Koreas. Thanks very much for talking to us. How significant was what happened today?
Well, thanks for having me. There was a lot of drama and theatrics, but the only meaningful outcome was that Trump and Kim were able to agree to have their two negotiating teams resume talks. So that is meaningful, but the challenge, the real work now begins because, as you may remember, in Hanoi, the summit broke down because the two sides were stuck on a key sticking point, and that is what the U.S. or what North Korea will accept in return for some denuclearization steps. So the two negotiating teams really have the work cut out for them. North Korea, I expect them to try to go for piecemeal deals without telling the U.S. how everything ends and if it ever ends to nuclear zero. And I also expect Washington to try to aim for a comprehensive agreement that does clarify where the end state is.
So you're saying that these unprecedented meetings between a North Korean and an American leader 3 times in just over a year, when it comes down to it, little more than theatrics?
Yes, a lot of theatrics, more than anyone would ever expect. And it really is giving Kim Jong-un the prestige and the attention that he's always wanted without having to work for it, without having to really give anything, any denuclearization steps in return. And so now, North Korea will have to show some flexibility. Well, both sides will have to show flexibility. But if Pyongyang continues to demand complete lifting of key sanctions, then I can imagine that for Washington, that would be a non-starter. Otherwise, one scenario or compromise that they could reach, and I hope they reach, is for Washington to be willing to give some time-bound exemptions, sanctions exemptions and waivers for proportionate North Korean denuclearization steps.
We've seen a few of these meetings now. We've seen a promise to restart negotiations. Each time they then floundered. What could make things turn out differently this time round?
Well, a lot of factors. In no particular order, the two leaders and the two countries have to have the political will to come to a negotiated settlement. But fundamentally, they still need to agree on what the end state is, what denuclearization is, and what that looks like. And they have not been able to agree on that. And that's a fundamental issue that will really make or break this current diplomacy and symmetry moving forward. And the other thing that I'll be looking out for is whether the two sides would be able to strike some small deals, some mini deals for the time being to get the ball rolling. But again, there too, the key that we will be looking out for is what is the bargain, what is the give and take, and what are both sides willing to accept in return.
Duyeon Kim, thanks very much for joining us. Now, reports coming in from the AFP